Today begins the season of Lenten Sundays. And it also begins a time of deep spiritual awareness. While unity is certainly not mainstream Christianity, yet when millions of people throughout the world are focused on things of the Spirit, why wouldn't we want to dive deep into that sea of spiritual vibration? Yeah. So what does Lent and Easter mean to us in unity? Well, certainly we honor and remember our way shower and brother Jesus. And yes, Jesus was a very real person who was at the time considered a miracle worker and a prophet. He was also someone who spoke his truth to power. And because of that, he became a Roman political prisoner and was killed by crucifixion. He was a very bold person. In unity, we view Lent and Easter metaphysically, symbolically. Lent is meant to be a time of preparation for Easter, which is a time of rebirth, spiritual growth, transformation, and even resurrection. The word Lent comes from the Anglo-Saxon word for spring, which in turn is derived from the Germanic root for long, referencing the fact that in the spring, the days become noticeably longer. And I applaud all of you for arriving on time today. And even though it may take a bit of adjustment for our bodies and sleep cycles, it's a good thing. And just as spring is the season for new and expanded life, Lent is a time of spiritual rebirth and renewal. It is a time for realigning ourselves with the Christ mind and allowing ourselves to be transformed at depth. Regardless of our approach to Lent, as we follow the Christ light within us, we have the opportunity to rise up in a higher level of being. We have the opportunity to step into fuller expression of our own divine potential. Yeah, it's a good thing. And yet, for me, this Lent feels different. How about you? Yeah. When I think of Jesus as a political prisoner and how he boldly lived his truth, I thought about myself. I thought about all of you, all of us. What are we being called to do? Are we too being called to step into our boldness, to speak and live our truth? Unity author Eric Butterworth said that Lent can be a dynamic experience, not by what you give up, as much as what you take up. He suggests that we take up the practice of high-level or spiritual thinking. Yeah. And it was with that suggestion that this wonderful biblical quote from the second book of Timothy came to me. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Wow. Do we have an inborn spirit of power, an inborn spirit of boldness? Well, saying that, I can remember myself as a child, even in school up to college. I was anything but bold. I was painfully shy, insecure. I rarely spoke. I know. It's hard to believe. I understand. But I was taught to follow societal norms and expectations. But I felt so confined. I really wanted to be braver. I really wanted to be bolder. Over time, I learned to take small steps and gradually to feel that bold version of me, and, well, at least at times. When I look at the things that have had the biggest positive impact in my life, that I'm most proud of, and when I feel I am at my very best, there is an element of boldness there. Sometimes it's just how I show up. Sometimes it's how I aspire to be. Yes, there are still times when I fall short, but now I know more about who I am. I know more about who I am spiritually, not just the physicality of me. So on Lenten Sundays, I'll be exploring, and I hope you'll join with me, and how we can step into our boldness. Each Sunday, we will focus on a different aspect. This Sunday, it is a calling to be bold in accepting our divinity. But that word boldness, what does it mean? And how can we live boldly? Well, according to the dictionary, boldness is showing a willingness to take risk, being confident and courageous. Does it mean we're fearless? No. It means that we will not allow fear to control us. Now, Maya Angelou wrote that if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our soul. Yeah. If we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our soul. Boldness is a choice. Boldness, just like all of our divine, our spiritual powers, lies within us, dormant, until we call on it. Well, we have that power of boldness within. We must choose boldness, just like we choose love or faith or wisdom. It is in that choice of boldness where our freedom lies. Now, in many situations, I have seen belligerence disguised as boldness. Belligerence is being hostile or aggressive or having a warlike attitude. And while in some situations belligerence might be tempting, but realize when you give in to that temptation, you are allowing others, people, situations to dictate your behavior and control your thoughts. Belligerence is striking out in a warlike way. It is in reaction to, not a response from. Boldness. It is a conscious, responsive choice. Theologian Mike Yaconelli wrote that boldness doesn't mean rude, obnoxious, loud, or disrespectful. There we go. Being bold is being firm, secure, confident, daring, strong, resilient, and not easily intimidated. It means you're willing to go where you've never been, willing to try what you've never tried, and willing to trust what you've never trusted. Boldness is quiet, not noisy. Boldness is not a quick reaction to what someone said or did, but rather using your voice, your pen or your keyboard, after listening to your heart and knowing your purpose. Are you bold enough to do that? Are you bold enough to accept your truth? That's a capital T. Bold enough to accept your divinity. Because in boldness, we are not trying to protect ourselves from someone or something. Rather, we are projecting our true self into the world for all to see. Not protecting, but projecting. We have no need to protect or to be defensive, for we know that no one or nothing can truly harm or hurt us. Yes, our body can be hurt or harmed. Yes, our feelings can be hurt or harmed. But that is not who you are in truth, capital T. You are the Christ. You are divine. Co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, in the book Healing Letters, wrote, "The trials of today are stepping stones over which you pass to a glorious destiny." Now, what is that destiny? Perhaps it is to step into your boldness, to be bold in accepting your divinity. Now, I don't think I have ever quoted William Shakespeare, but I found this most amazing quote from him, from a play I never even heard of. Here it is. "Boldness, be my friend. Arm me in audacity from head to toe." Arm me in audacity from head to toe. I love that. And for some of us, it may seem that that statement is not ours. That level of boldness is not ours. It may feel audacious to state that we accept our divinity. But if we truly embrace unity teachings, then we come to a realization that God is not a person, but rather a power or a principle. In fact, the prime unity principle is oneness. There is a changeless, constant truth of oneness. We say it every Sunday. There is only one presence, one power active in the universe and as my life. Yeah. That's a pretty bold, audacious statement of truth. It states that there is only oneness, which is indivisible. There is nothing that can be separate or outside of this oneness. And so my favorite unity author, Dr. Emily Cady, in her book Lessons in Truth, wrote that God is the name that we give to that unchangeable, unstoppable principle at the source of all existence. Unity author Eric Butterworth has often told us that our oneness with God is like being a wave of the ocean. The ocean being God or principle, and we become the wave or God in expression. The wave is the action of the ocean. It's not separate from the ocean. It is the action of the ocean. It's the ocean in movement. We are the ocean in movement. We are one with the ocean. We are divine. And so we might think that if we were to claim that we were divine, that we would be saying that we are perfect or saintly or better than others, but hardly. And so we look and said to know that our divinity is our ever-present connection to the divine, that we are never separated from that. And so we come to an understanding that to say that we are divine is to say that we are one with. To claim our divinity is to say that we are one with the light, the power of all. And so Eric Butterworth wrote that the allness is ever expressing itself in its eachness. What does that mean? The allness is God, that divine presence, and it is ever expressing itself in you. If I'm the very expression of the divine and I can choose to express or not, then who is in charge? Each one of you are in charge. You are divine. Yeah. You are divine. And this is the time in Lent when we can be open to new understandings, to new ideas, to new ways of looking at ourselves. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to consider that you just might be divine? Yes. You just might be. And so this time of Lent, this time in preparation for our spiritual resurrection, is a time of laying the groundwork. We're laying the groundwork on which we will stand and resurrect. And the groundwork begins with you knowing who you are. Who are you? Not who are you in this physical body, but who are you as a spiritual being, having this human experience? Who are you? Charles Fillmore, in his book Keep a True Lent, wrote that this realization of divine unity is the highest we may attain. This is true glory, the blending and merging of the whole being in divine mind. Build yourself into God, and you will find yourself in heaven right here and now. So, you have an audacious job this week. This week, at least once a day. Some of you might want to do it 10 times a day. Okay. But at least once a day, to look in the mirror and to say, I am a divine being. I am one with the one. I am one with all. I am a divine being. Don't sell yourself short. Don't play small. We don't have time for that. Okay? We don't have time for anyone playing small. All of us need to step in to our divinity. All of us need to step in to our truth. There are no excuses. There is no playing small. This is the time. If you've been wondering when is the time to do it, this is the time. This week, look in the mirror and announce your divinity. Announce your oneness with the one. And then live that. Make that a living purpose in your life. Not just when you come here, but every single day, every single minute. Is that perhaps a new and challenging thing to do? Yeah, all right. You're all up for the challenge, I know that. But this is the time. I will hold you in prayer, affirming the beautiful, divine, powerful people that you are. And I'll see you next week.